Guys, welcome. Gazi Revolution is back. Yo, it's been a while, eh? I don't even know what to say anymore, guys. I know a lot of you have been asking me when is the next episode dropping, and I've been delaying. I'll just tell you, life happened along the way. But luckily, in this crazy festive, I was able to do something. So guys, yeah, we're gonna get straight into it. My co-host today is Mr. Edison. I've known this guy for how long, has he?
Yes, I'd say 20 years plus.
Yo, yes, that's so long. Yeah, a grown up.
Time flies.
It's one of the things. Or you stressed out most of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one of those things.
Either way, you get through the time.
Yo, guys, you push, eh? You push, eh? But guys, it actually feels good to be able to do something like this again. I'm hoping to really cover a lot of episodes this season. This is season 2. Um, it's one of those things where you had a lot of thought going into this. For as much as you constricted with, like say, equipment, you constricted with time. There's family.
Yeah.
There's your job,
And there's standard.
and there's standard. Yeah, man. So basically, the idea is to cover specific topics, and hopefully I can get the engagement that I'm expecting. But one of the main reasons why I obviously asked my friend here to for us to have a session is basically just to touch base,
Yeah. Touch
on
base.
life.
Actually.
We're talking marriage, kids,
Fatherhood.
you understand?
Work.
Yeah, as long as we don't incriminate ourselves. It's one of those things where you just want to be like, hey, I hope I don't say the wrong thing. Yeah,
Yeah, no.
you understand?
Responsibilities. Yeah.
It's one of those things. But anyway, guys, I'd let Mark introduce himself. He's, yeah, like we said, it's been 20 years plus.
Yeah. Yeah, we've known each other for about
Like
20 plus
pretty long.
years.
Yeah.
When we were still young and wild and free.
Yes. With nothing tying us down much, you know. But
And very limited objectives.
that time you didn't even see the future the way you would see it now.
Living in the moment.
Yeah.
Literally living in the moment. And I think it was even a time before social media really popped off as much as it did.
Yeah.
It was a time before even Facebook, maybe Instagram, WhatsApp.
Dude,
I think it was
we
Mixer
had
Days.
yes, that was Mixer Days.
Mixer Days.
Yes, we the way you would communicate within the office was the MSN chat. What did they call it back then?
It was IM Messenger or something like that.
Yes, it was a
Instant
messenger.
Messenger or something like that.
Yes,
And that was only if your connection was configured for you to receive those messages, because some people weren't
no.
privileged enough to receive messages via instant messenger.
No. And then luckily we got the likes of Skype.
Yes.
There was a Skype era.
Yeah.
There was a nice Skype era there. I actually preferred Skype back then. Eh? I don't know why, but it's one of those things.
Yeah, I wasn't much of a Skype user per se. I think I just wasn't with the technology at the time. But yeah, now and then you fell into Teams, our favorite, our other colleague.
Yeah, basically. The Machingiland, the one that watches you.
Yeah.
Every time you go away, wait for 5 minutes. It's like, oh, Gazi, why are you watching me?
Absolutely.
I went on lunch. I had a tea break.
No, it knows exactly how long you've been away.
That's crazy because I think a lot of these things really became important during COVID.
Yes. Yeah.
It really became a thing.
During the times of separation, you needed to find ways to basically communicate with each other and to connect. And I mean I think that platform actually connected a lot of people work wise, on a personal level as well. Beyond the office and beyond office meetings, you could actually connect with your friends as well.
Yeah, but nothing beats a face to face.
No,
For me personally, Nothing beats a face to face. I know how we love to push the social media thing. You
Yeah.
understand? But nothing beats the fact that I can come see you and we can have a beer, we can have a
Yeah. The
ride, we
conversation,
can
catch
chat,
up.
and you actually get you say a lot more,
Yes.
and you can actually see that no man, this is a proper conversation.
Yes, a full on interaction, basically, a full
Like
live interaction. Yeah.
what you'll be typing, or even if you're video calling or anything like that, right? What you'll be doing on a social media platform, if you had to squash that into a visit, you get a lot more out of it.
Absolutely.
Because when you're on social media, it's almost like you need to be specific. You need to be like, okay, I'm going to tell you about this thing specifically.
Yes.
You understand? I've got a problem with this. We're going to unpack this specifically.
Yes.
But when you're together, you're just having fun. What happens is you touch here, you touch there, you touch there. Like there's a lot of things that actually that you discuss.
Yes, you are able to discuss, you're able to interact, you'll be able to even like do stuff. Do stuff. I can literally go and show you what I'm doing on my car. Check this out.
Yeah.
Listen to how this sounds. Let's go for a spin. For example. And yeah, side note, guys, I am a car guy. If you haven't noticed by the t-shirt.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not really into my cars. But I mean, so you might get a lot of car related references. So yeah, just a warning ahead of the time.
Which is cool.
But yes, obviously getting together, and I mean, there's the ability to be able to go and experience the world together, not just limited to being on either sides of a screen. You know, you can actually go take a drive, go check this place out, and things like that, things that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do via Teams, but Teams is also a valuable commodity in the instance where movement is limited, where the distance separates you. So
Yeah.
grateful for that.
I think a lot of people actually got some overseas jobs because of the situation that we fell into.
Yep.
In terms of working remotely, stuff like that. People are now at that point where they actually feel like when they apply for another job at a different company,
Yes.
the option of working remotely is one of those things. Some people actually resign because they didn't want to go to the office.
Yes.
They don't want that.
100%.
And the weirdest thing is, a lot of people that I've spoken to have said that they are more productive at home. You would swear it's more distracting at home, but it's not. It's more distracting in the office because of the amount of people that's there. You understand?
Yes,
So that you get a lot more done working from home.
Absolutely. I mean, you get into the office environment. Yes, you are under the watchful eye, but there's a lot of smoke breaks, tea breaks, impromptu conversations. Yeah. Someone walks past your desk, you'll start talking, yeah, things like that. Whereas within your own personal space at home, you are just you and your environment. You're in your comfortable clothes. Yeah. You've got your favorite mug happening over there. You've had your breakfast or your two slices, peanut butter and jam, whatever the case may be. You know, and you're good to go for the day. You know what I'm saying? No traffic involved, no traveling involved. You know what I'm saying?
It cuts a lot of time.
Bed, quick wash, comfortable clothes,
Yeah.
something to eat, and you're in. Uh, the benefit of the office environment, I would say, is the social interactions. You know, it's
Yes.
similar to like what we were just saying a few minutes ago regarding teams.
Yes.
And what you're able to do via Teams versus what you're able to actually do in person.
Yes.
And the social interactions in person is always better.
Yeah. The thing is, you must remember we social beings.
Yes.
Do you understand? We that's how we connect at the end of the day.
Yes.
And hence when the restrictions were released or
Raised.
were raised. Yes. Yeah, man.
Implemented.
English. Anyways, you felt isolated, but at the same time, when you were able to move freely or more freely,
Yes.
you appreciated having to see people more.
Yes.
I know. From my side, I always tell my wife is like, what, at least now I get to go see other kids out there.
Yes.
Yeah, like yeah, because it to be honest, like you would feel like you're imprisoned.
Yes.
you feel like maybe the walls, yeah, the walls are closing in. It doesn't matter how big your house is. It doesn't matter how, what kind of space you live in. Sooner or later you would feel it.
Yeah, that feeling of disconnection. Yes.
But one thing I wanna really find out, like then and now, what would your relationship or your marriage be like?
Okay. Or in the sense of what was it like back then versus
Yeah,
what was it like now?
do you understand? Like not obviously not something like hectic in depth, but is it okay for a couple to be able to spend time apart? Do you understand? Because obviously there's obviously other couples that they spend a lot of time together face to
Yes.
face.
Yes.
Do you understand? During the day. Imagine lockdown.
Yeah.
Because
A separation.
a separation.
Basically, yeah, a bit of a separation. I guess you can call it that. I don't know the exact term, but a bit of
A little bit of that.
separation. Yeah.
You know, just to be able to do your own thing. It's not like you're busy gallivanting or you're busy doing funny things out there, but it's just the mere fact that
there was the option of you are able to just exist in your own world by yourself for a little while.
Yeah.
Before reconnecting with your partner. And essentially it is. I think it's a good thing to have a bit of I wouldn't call it separation, but just to have a bit of your own time, even during the day.
Yeah.
During the day, during the week, during the weekends. Because at the end of the day, a relationship is two separate beings coming together.
Yeah.
And initially, when you met your partner, they were their own being in their own world. Yeah. With their own mannerisms and things that they've picked up and learned and experienced. Yeah. By themselves, and which shaped who they were, and that's what drew you to them and them to you, because vice versa, you were your own being. Yeah. In your own world. So both of you had unique experiences. Yeah. To bring to the table, unique mannerisms, unique ideas, unique friend groups to bring to the table, and you'll start to explore each other's worlds. When you'll know each other that well. Um, and once you get to a place of like once you're together for a lot of time, and it's and seeing each other out on a daily basis. Yeah. Basically, it becomes routine. Yes. Because then this becomes your new world. And if you don't have any, I wouldn't say maybe experiences outside of just your household life, um, it would kind of make you and your partner dull in a sense, because you just know each other. And there are certain relationships where there's two couples or two people that are together for a long time. Yeah. Or they can be in each other's company for a long periods of time. Yeah. And it works. It works. It does. The energy towards each other and amongst each other is such that they work well together. They vibe well together. Their vibe is cool. That even if they were sitting together the whole day together and not really saying much or doing much, just being, it would still they would still enjoy that day. They would still enjoy the company of that person. Just sometimes, just even if it's not doing much together. Maybe one person is reading in the room and the other person is watching a movie, or one person is out in the garden and the other person is maybe playing games or whatever the case may be. But just it's enough to know that there's someone inside that I can connect with if I need to. Yeah. Yeah. But that is cool because you do find a lot of those kind of relationships where that part of when people speak about companionship, yes, it's not just the 20%. It's not just the 50%. Yeah. A lot of people has got like maybe say 80% of it. It's there. Yes. Do you understand? Yes. Where you feel like this person is there all the time. The only time you realize they're not there is whether they're not in the yard or the house. Yes. And obviously it's a subconscious thing because you would know that they're not there because you know they left at that time. Yeah. You understand? The absence is felt, whether you were interacting the whole day or not. Yeah. The absence just not being able to walk into the next room and see them there, or walk outside or walk to the garage and see them there is like, you know,
Yeah, it's one of
know
those
your
things.
person isn't in the vicinity.
It's one of those things when I sit and I ask myself, okay, so there's a lot of these do's and don'ts in relationships, right? In marriages, in any type of relationship, maybe even friendship.
Yeah.
Do you understand? There's a lot of do's and don'ts, right? But those do's and don'ts always feel like imposed, if you know what I mean. Because remember, the world tells you you're unique,
Yes.
you're different.
Yeah.
Then
100%.
how is it that for some reason there would be a blanket approach to certain things,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to relationships? Like when you get to know your wife, right? You get to know her, not everything else.
Yes.
Do you understand? You get to know her tricks, her traits, this and that, her personality.
Yeah.
You obviously become more patient in certain areas. You obviously become more understanding with certain things.
Yes.
That's when obviously the compromise comes into place where you're like, you know what? I understand this person. You
Yeah.
understand? But if you were to most probably be in an argument or you're in a situation with your wife and you
Yeah.
explain it to a third party,
Yes.
right? To them, it seems like bombastic. It seems out of this world. And to
Yeah.
them, it's like, "Hey, man, why don't you just leave there, man?" You know?
Yes.
And that time, it's because that person doesn't have the full picture of what your relationship is really about. Remember, your relationship is not just about that situation.
Yes.
It
There's a
is
lot of things
there's
that
a lot of things that
into the
went
process.
in
Yeah.
all these years. And then someone from outside will be like, yeah, man, but why don't you just, you know?
Yes.
And to you, that time, it also doesn't even make sense. Just give up.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
what?
It's true because yeah.
No, continue, Gazi. Well, I can continue. Thank you. So, for the one thing, I think when I look at myself and I look at my relationship with my wife, right? It's like we've become a part of each other in a sense that I every day I kind of feel like I need to understand her a little bit better.
Yeah. Definitely.
Um, there's times I sit back and I'm like, okay, we had this issue. This is how I dealt with it. I think I could have dealt with it a little bit better, a
Yeah.
little bit differently. I hate using the word better.
Yeah.
A little bit differently.
In retrospect.
Do you
Yes.
understand?
Yeah.
At that time, whichever third party used to be in your ears, not there, because now it's you and your mind.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Because at the end of the day, regardless of what you do next after whatever you experience, the decision is on you.
Yes.
What is your next step based on what you experienced in that moment and whether that moment was a deal breaker for you.
Yeah.
Because somebody might say, "Ah, that's normal, that's okay," but they are used to a um certain experiences within their own relationships,
Yeah.
or things that they ignore or that they're okay with.
Yes.
And you'll find that maybe there's certain things that don't sit well with you as an individual. And I mean, it's also important to pay attention to those things because, um, especially when it comes to relationships,
Yeah.
and with two unique individuals, two unique human beings with their own traits, their own likes, their own dislikes, their own experiences,
Yeah.
their own traumas, there isn't really a blanket approach that can be applied to say, okay, when this happens, then you should do this. When this happens, you should do this. When this happens, you should do this. Um, that's why with relationships are basically the terms and conditions or the rules of engagement in that relationship are defined by the two people in that relationship.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's why before you go into a relationship, it's important to know yourself, who you are as a person,
Understand
your likes, your dislikes, your deal breakers, if I can say that, because that will determine the type of relationship that you cultivate with another human being, and what you are willing to endure. You know where your cutoff point is. Where
Yeah.
I don't like being spoken to in this way, or I
Yeah.
don't like somebody that lies to me or whatever the case may be, this is my deal breaker and I'm no longer going to continue with this relationship. Yeah. You know? Whereas someone who hasn't really gone through their terms and conditions and said, listen, this is what I'm willing to tolerate, this is what I'm not willing to tolerate, this is what I'm willing to accept or forgive, and this is what I'm not willing to accept and forgive. You basically putting yourself out there to endure things that you may not necessarily be 100% happy or comfortable with. Yeah. And then when the storms come, you don't necessarily know how to react in those situations. No. Is it one of those situations where, so what I wanted to initially get to is, okay, so you understand yourself before you get into a relationship, right? Yes. Cool. What you expect out of that relationship, what you expect out of a partner, um, what your goals are for that relationship. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I found myself knowing these things, a little bit of it, right? Yeah. Get yourself into a relationship, get yourself married. Now you're living with this person, right? Yes. Now, there are things that have a way of creeping up. Yes. And it's not necessarily that you've trained yourself before getting into the relationship. And then you start realizing, like, man, I don't like this thing. Yes. You know? Yeah. It's like now, because remember, we're all not the same. How you react to when that thing happens, yes, it's going to be very different from how someone else reacts. Yes. Do you understand? Yeah. And I used to sit back. I think I torture myself in that sense, where I sit back and I'm like, you know what? I could have dealt with it differently. Because then you find I was maybe here, yes, where I could have just had a conversation. Yeah. But it's also taught me to say that, you know what? Learn to keep quiet for a while, calm down, and process. Process, even if it means that later on, when you have the conversation, yeah, you say, you know what, I would like to speak to you with regards to A, B, C, D. You understand? Yes. Because this is how it took me. I've noticed the more calmer approach, yeah, has always been more fruitful. Yeah, man. More fruitful. You understand? Because remember, you don't know yourself 100%. Every day you wake up, there's new things that get added. Yeah. New things get added to you. New things you be like, new triggers. New, hey, bro. As time goes, things change. You understand? And now, what adds on to that? Remember, you guys become first-time parents. Yes, that part. Do you understand? Remember, already you have a parenting style based on where you come from. Yes. She has a parenting style based on where she comes from. Yeah. That's completely new to you guys now. Yes. Yeah. And dealing with certain things. You understand? Mm. And I think those are the things that we don't really talk about them, eh? Yeah, no, absolutely. And we get told, oh, it's not easy. You never told me what's not easy. Yeah. I've never gotten a checklist or a list or something broken down to say that, watch out for this. Yeah. This can be tricky. Watch out for that. That can be tricky. Not even a framework, bruh. Yeah. If you think about it, most of the things you've done thinking you're doing the best, thinking it's the right thing to do. And some of those things have backfired. You're making the best decision you can in that moment, in your state. Um, you know, from the information that you have available to you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, yes, we have to learn in retrospect to say, like, hey, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. I shouldn't have handled that this way. Or if I do this, okay, I see this is the reaction that I get, or this is the situation I find myself in. And yeah, the parenting and relationship handbook. The perfect parenting and perfect relationship handbook hasn't been written yet. No, so it's still at this point. I think even that time you think you're writing it now. For yourself, you are. For yourself, yes. And then for yourself, conscious in your whole relationship experience, and your parenting experience, conscious about the things you do, the way you act, the way you were brought up, and things that maybe you liked or disliked about the way you were brought up, and make a conscious decision to try and do better.
Yeah. Do different. Do
Yes, do
different.
things differently,
Yeah.
if need be, or mimic some of the behaviors that your parents
Yeah.
taught you because you felt that that had a positive influence on you.
Yeah.
You know, so you're kind of writing your own personal perfect parenting handbook.
Yes.
You know, as well as, I mean, even in a relationship, your own personal perfect relationship handbook. And for those that are still single and still dating and so on, they're still trying to find that, trying to find themselves.
Yeah.
And who they are as a partner, what type of partners gel well with them, things
Yeah.
that they like in a relationship, things that they don't like. Um, and I think one of the factors, especially based on the point that you discussed earlier about experiencing something or the behavior of your partner,
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily sit well with you in a moment. You know, if you have a partner that you can easily communicate with without
Yeah.
them being up in arms, without them responding in a hostile or negative manner.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's important. It's
Yeah.
very good.
I think you've heard this also for maybe for years. The key to a successful relationship or key to a successful marriage is communication.
Absolutely.
But they don't tell you what type of communication. They say communication. You know that kicking and screaming is also a form of communication.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Yelling is a scream. It's a form of communication. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Silence is a form of communication.
Interpretive.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So if you can say that you need to learn to have that positive communication between the two of you, no name calling when you're having a fight.
Yeah.
You understand? No degrading or looking down on the other one when you're having a fight.
Yeah.
No picking and calling names, and there's a lot that goes into it. And I think it becomes more difficult if you're working with a bit of a stubborn individual.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Then you need to find out tricks and ways to be able to break it down, because now you need to be very careful of your approach. Yes, absolutely. To a certain person. Yeah. But I love the concept that I use personally. Yeah. I say I like to plant seeds. Okay. If I mention something to my wife or to my friend or to my kids, yeah, sooner or later, that seed will grow. Yeah. Because I put it out there. So if you're silent and you just angry, you just don't say anything. Yeah. Especially if it's not positive, especially if it's not in a calm way, what's going to happen is that you basically got nothing through to that person. You did not plant any seeds. Absolutely. It was basically in vain. And I think this is where, even earlier, I say you find ways and you find tricks of how to talk to your person. Yes. Even how to talk to your kids now. Yes. It becomes difficult because remember, they come with new things, new naughtiness every single time that you need to adjust yourself. And because you're the bigger person, remember? Yeah. And you need to handle the situation. They only know what they know. Yeah. And now it's new to you. It was new to them, obviously. It's new to you. How do you deal with that? You understand? And I think based on all of that, it even goes down to when you're having friends. Yeah. Because not all of us can have civil conversations. Because remember, sometimes you're dealing with very insecure individuals. Yes. Sometimes you are dealing with, like I said, stubborn individuals. Sometimes you are dealing with self-obsessed individuals. Yes. Sometimes you are dealing with people that have not seen how good it is to have a positive conversation, even from a bad situation. Yes. No, 100%, 100%. And one of the things I've learned over the years is, especially when addressing an issue maybe with your partner, is attack the problem and not the person. Yeah. Uh, yeah. It's attack the problem and not the person. This is the issue. Yes. I think too many times we look at the personality of the person and the character of the person. Because when you're attacking the person, you're attacking that person's character. Yes. You did this because you are. Yes. And I guess we're all at fault with that. I'm not even going to exclude anyone here. Because we we have a tendency, and at the end of the day, yeah, we like using that thing of we are human. But it goes back to when I say that sometimes I have to go back and I have to ask myself, can't I deal with this differently? Yeah. My manner of approach. Do you understand? Yeah. Because also when you want to address a situation, um, you don't want to get the person to put up more walls. Yes, up in arms. Up in arms. Yes, and so, defensive. So there are obviously psychological techniques. That's one thing I do know. There are psychological techniques as to how you approach people. Yes. Because remember, people's psyche has been influenced by the way the world works. Yeah. The same, right? And at the same time, their psyche have been influenced everything they've been fed from the time they were kids. Yes. Because remember, it's not just what happens at home, also what happens at school, also what happens at work, also what happens on TV, also what's been trending on social media. It influences the way you would respond to someone. Situations, yeah. And what almost you grew up around it, the situations and the things that you saw growing up in your own household or within your family or within your friend groups. Yeah. Yeah. It basically shows you that your response self has been influenced. Yes. It's not something that you can genuinely say comes from you. Yes. And that's why I say that a human being's brain is not a rock, because you can change. Yes. You can change at any time. Yeah. But some people feel that they need to stay in that habit, because it's a habit that you teach yourself. Yeah. Set in your ways. Set in your ways. We say that, you understand? And some people, and remember, the older you get, the harder it is to change habits. Yeah, that's true. You're not a kid anymore. That is true. The older you get, the harder, because of routine. Yeah. You feel like, no, I've been doing this for years. And the one thing I think I dislike a lot is when someone says, but this is how I am. This is who I am. But are you sure? Are you sure? Is there no room for you? You understand? So is there? Understand? And I think a lot of people, even when they say that this is who I am, this is who I am, maybe they cry for help. They know that there is a degree of change that can happen, but you have to be willing to make that change. You know what I'm saying? There might circumstances, for example, someone might be a smoker for many years. Yes. And then the doctor tells them, listen, you need to quit, or you need to cut down, because if you don't, you won't die. You are on the brink of this health condition. Yeah. You won't die. Exactly. But and why is it always a fear thing? Have you noticed? Yeah, it's a fear thing. It's a very powerful thing. And you'll find that that person will actually make the conscious decision to say, okay, you know what, I actually have to, because now there is something that I'm working against. I'm working against this health condition now. Yeah. It's not just about me having a smoke anymore. Now it's about when I prolonging my life. That happens. Yes. And we look at things, which means we can change, we can adapt. You can. Guys, the smoking example is just an example. It's just an analogy. Yeah. But it's one of those things that you can, if you learn to implement certain things to change your habits. Yes. Just think about maybe your very first relationship with another partner or whoever. Mhm. There's certain things that had to change within you. Yes. It wasn't about, no, the one that hurt me must change. Yeah. There's certain things you changed about you. Yeah. Just think about when you switch jobs, right? You went into a different environment. Exactly. That's where you need to learn to adapt. New rules, new processes, just that. New ways of working. Like new ways of working. And a lot of us, we sit and we do not want to implement that, because of that. What we say is, this is who I am, this is how I am. Do you understand? Yeah. Look, we're not saying you must change all willy-nilly and not have proper, how can I put this? Direction or a plan for the idea is for you to not be, when things are happening to you, right? Yeah. It's not about, now I must just, the idea is for you to be like, you know what, this one bothers me, this doesn't bother me. How do I tackle this? Yes. Do you understand? I don't have to care about because I've noticed a lot of people are more concerned about things they have no control over. Yes. Very much concerned about things they have no control over whatsoever. You are in control of you. What you feed your brain, what you get your, the situations you get yourself into, the decisions that you make, the choices that you are left to make those decisions. You understand? Yeah. So it's one of those things where you decide. And sometimes there's not a right or a wrong decision. You've made the decision, it had consequences. How do I move on from there? Yeah. How do I not let this thing drag me down? Yeah. And the fact that we have this tendency of blaming external things more than we would do ourselves. Yeah. I always make a weird example. I say, okay, fine. Yeah, you're busy complaining about your girlfriend and you're busy complaining about your company. Ne? Look yourself in the mirror, ne? And tell yourself that you are perfect. You are the best. You have done nothing wrong ever. Can anybody do that? I don't think so. Yeah. I do not think Use so. Without sin, cast the first stone. Thank you. Do you understand? Yeah. And we are so quick to blame external things because we don't like to take responsibility. Yeah. We lack accountability. You bias. Yeah, but it's going to be biased to let me rather be that guy that can say, hey, Josh, I know you messed up. Right? How do you fix this? Yeah. How many people can really stand up and say, you know what, I can do that? Because a lot of people have this thing, it's not me. It was never me. It's somebody else's fault. It's somebody else's fault. Yeah. And that's why relationships don't go anywhere because a lot of people do not do introspection. Yeah. A lot of marriages are failing because people do not do introspection. How do I deal with this better? And you'll find there is one that wants to do better or differently. Yeah. Right? And then you find the other one doesn't. Yeah. And remember, relationship or marriage is not just about one person. It's about us. Yes. Absolutely. And the other person can't force you to do something that you do not want to do. Yeah. Same goes for the relationship you can have with your kids. Yeah. To some extent, there needs to be some accordance as to this is the rules. Yeah. And if these rules apply to you, it must also apply to me. Yes. Then we find ourselves as parents, we set out rules, but we don't have a follow through. We don't see things through. Yeah. We are the same ones that break the same rules. And I mean, it's no phone, no phone. Guess what you have in your hand? Phone. So what example are you setting? Yeah. What do they call it? As parents, basically, you need to model the good behavior. So yes, I think kids listen or pay attention to what you do more than what you actually tell them to. Yes. Because at the end of the day, they look up to you for they their don't do what you say, they do what you do. Exactly. Yeah. And as their caregiver, their primary caregiver, yes, in this world, they look up to you in a lot of ways and they trust you in a lot of Remember, ways. You their first role model. Exactly. You as a parent. If they see you doing something, even if you tell them don't do it, yeah, okay, fine, I won't do it now, but maybe when I'm an adult, I'll do what I saw you do I see a lot of things you guys about me, yeah. You know? It's big fight where you're like, so yeah, but you didn't. And and I mean it's accountability, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in parenting, whether it's just a human being in this world. Yeah. You know, we have to take accountability for the actions, yeah, that we take, for the decisions that we make. Yeah. Because once you take that conscious accountability, yeah, you're more cautious about the things that you do or the things that you say because you know that you are ultimately responsible for the things that you experience and you go through. Look, there is a degree of certain factors that were out of your hands. Yeah. And I mean, it does happen for a lot of people. Yes. Where they put in situations that they were not, um,
that they didn't want to be in. Yeah. And I mean, even on that level, you are still, I guess, responsible and accountable for how you get yourself through those situations, how you manage, yeah, within those situations. The choices, the decisions. Exactly. No, nobody can act on your behalf, even if your situation is bad, unless you make the decision to take steps. Yeah. A conscious decision. Yeah. To getting out of that situation, or um improving that situation, or fixing that situation. Yeah. Nobody else can do that for you. Yeah. You do get situations like if we go back to the smoking situation, right? And you get told, yeah, you only this is impacting your health and could be detrimental and could lead to your death. You understand? Yeah. Now you find where someone does tell you that, a doctor does tell you that, right? In your mind, you're like, "Ah, I'll die anyways." Yeah. Do you see that almost like, you know what? I'm not going to take this. I'm going to die anyways. Yeah. So that's why it's very, situations are different. That's the first thing I always acknowledge. And I say, you know what? You can't judge a person just because of what you most probably heard or just seen for 5 minutes. Yeah. No, because you don't know that person's whole situation. Definitely not. But I always believe that there are steps you can take to say that I want to change certain things within my life. And it just doesn't go to typical relationships. Sometimes you look at your life itself. If you had to look back, especially if you're old enough, I'll say old enough, we're looking at 25 upwards or whatever, right? You are old enough to say that if I didn't do that, it wouldn't have led to that, it wouldn't have led to that, it wouldn't have led to that, it would have led to that. If you look at your life right now, Gazi, right? Yeah. You look at your life as a whole, yeah, right? You met your wife a certain time ago. Yes. There were series of situations and decisions, yes, that had to happen. Yeah. For able for you guys to get to this point. Yes. There was a time where you could have jumped off the wagon and be like, "Hey, this train is not for me. Yeah. I'll find another train to go with." Do you understand? It would have changed, yeah. It would have changed. Do you understand? But because of the decisions that you made right throughout has led you to the point that we're at now. Yeah. And when you look at it, right, through all of that, right, you cannot tell me that you do not see progress. No, absolutely. And I'm not talking about progress in terms of, yeah, no, she's better now. Because a lot of people, like I said, it's not about her. I'm talking about you. Yeah. You cannot tell me and sit back and say that, you know what, actually, me from the time I've met her to the time I'm at now, yeah. You're, and trust I me, needed to thank you. Work on it, and I needed to adapt to in order for us to be able to coexist peacefully. Yeah. You understand? And productively. Yeah. And basically, that's what it is. And I had a discussion not so long ago. It's not on the 26th, yeah. On Thursday, yeah? Yeah. I had a discussion, and it was a matter of talking to people that's been married over 30 years. Yeah. 30 years plus. Do you understand? And obviously, you can imagine they've most probably gone through quite a lot, in that time. And I'm not just talking money situations. I'm talking personally. I'm talking events with kids. I'm talking events with a lot of things. Yes. Do you understand? Yeah. I had to go through a lot. And you can see that when you say sometimes they have discussions, it's almost like some people have a tendency, while they're talking to you, it's like they're reflecting on certain places. Yeah. Where a certain time this happened. Oh, yo, I remember that. Oh, you understand? Like, yeah, it's almost like there's certain things. It's almost like touching on old wounds. You understand? Yeah. But then it's almost like all at the same time, like, yo, but it was worth it, eh? Because look at where I'm at. Yes. Yeah. Look at how far we've come. How that situation was dealt with, and what you've learned from that situation as a couple. I mean, basically, on both sides, yeah, taking accountability for your own contributions. Yes. I mean, in an argument, generally, when two people are arguing, especially in relationships, yeah, a lot of things get said in yes, one direction. Yes. And one person sets the next person off, yeah, and so on. Look, there are unique situations where that isn't a dynamic where you're dealing with a person and one is trying to keep peace, but the other one's trying to throw the table over. Yeah. You know? It does happen as well.
If you ever thought about this, right? Um, if you had to give advice as to how to choose a partner to your kids, sure. Like if you had to say to them, this is the kind of characteristics that I think you should look out for. Do you understand?
Yes.
But if you don't find all of them, or if you find this particular one, this is what you nurture. This is what you work on.
Yeah.
You make that your mission.
Yeah.
Because times have changed.
Yeah.
Times have changed. People have options. Yeah. People want to move from this one to that one instantly. There's a lot of giving up.
Yeah.
That also happens
because the next option is always there.
You understand? But the main focus on that is the fact that there's a negativity that we focus on.
Yeah.
And when we say that I am not happy, when we have the tendency of saying, yeah, but it's not for me anymore. I have outgrown this relationship. Yeah. Like, really? Because remember, if that person can give up on you so easily, imagine how easily they can give up on the next person and the next person. By the time you look at it, it's a problem. Because remember, now you do not understand how to appreciate or identify love as a person.
Yeah.
And it not just goes for women, it goes for men as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. And I mean, I think in a sense that also comes from knowing yourself prior to getting into another relationship, prior to making a commitment to another human being that you may have to change down the line. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can only do your best as far as knowing yourself and choosing a partner because you don't know what's gonna happen down the line that will make things that will bring about the change in the relationship, you know? And once you know yourself, what you want out of a relationship and what you don't want in a relationship and so on, you can assess that, okay, fine, this person says they don't want me anymore, whatever the case may be, right? And, you know, part of knowing yourself is building your a sense of self, a sense of self confidence, your own self esteem.
Yeah.
That even if this person doesn't want me, it's okay.
Yeah. It
It's
shouldn't
okay
crush you.
because at the end of the day, I'm not looking for the person who doesn't want me. I'm looking for the person who does.
Yes. So you don't have to cry over the person that doesn't want you. Yes, maybe you've invested, you've put in so much, you understand?
Yeah.
But you need to also understand your self worth to a point where you are not groveling.
Yes, absolutely.
Because remember, some people will take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Some people hold on to people because of what they have on them or what they know that, you know what, I've got this glass of water, right? And you need it. So I'm going to use this glass of water to control you or to keep you closer. And that means that they will control you in a sense that it's not like that they're going to do right by you. They're just going to use it because they know they can control everything.
Yeah.
It's like they're sitting with this power over you. When you give someone that kind of power over you, you know, it's difficult to get out of it.
Yeah.
Because you are telling this person, I'm only as good as what you have in your hand.
Yeah.
You have water. I'm only as good as that water that you have there. That's my self worth to you.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And that is where I think we fall apart is the fact that we don't know about the future. We don't know about the unknown. But it doesn't mean if you don't have something now,
you'll never find somebody else.
You'll never have it in the future. Because remember, you do not know the future.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look back even prior to that relationship, you were your own being. You were your own person with your own hopes, with your own dreams, with your own aspirations and plans.
Yes.
Right? You existed.
Yeah.
Without this person.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah. And the things that person has. that they used to control you.
Exactly.
You were fine.
And for this period of time that you were together, you joined with this person and your worlds became one,
Yeah.
you know? And now that this person wants to separate, you get the feeling that your world is coming apart.
Yeah.
Yet, prior to that relationship, you were by yourself and you were fine.
That's true. And the thing is, maybe when you were not in that relationship, maybe you were the type of person that saw a lack of certain things within you, and you feel like this lack of certain things is something that someone is now giving to you.
Yes.
Do you understand? And I speak like this because I've realized it normally comes in a form of material things. That is the norm. But I do understand that some people can emotionally also hold you hostage.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Through manipulation.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And that is not how certain relationships are supposed to go.
Yeah.
You know, we speak about toxic
Or certain
relationships.
healthy relationships are not supposed to be.
Yeah. Do you understand? And not healthy in a sense that it's healthy for the other person. You'll find for the other person it's toxic. You'll find for the other that number two, it's healthy.
Yeah.
Because we view things differently. Because remember, when you come into a relationship, you already have baggage. That baggage contains the history of what you've experienced,
Yes.
what you've gone through, who taught you, who this, and what you think you want for the future.
Yeah.
Or how you plan things.
Yeah.
And then you get locked into a certain situation, and then you're like, you know what? Yeah, it's either I leave or I need to learn to tweak certain things so that it can help me. Yeah. But like I say, it's about learning to plant seeds, positive seeds.
Yes.
Sometimes if someone is doing you wrong, ask them, are you okay with the way you're doing this?
Yeah.
Are you okay with it?
Yeah.
Like personally, does it sit right with you the way you're doing this? Do you understand?
Yeah.
At the same time, when you're having that conversation, you're like, okay, fine, this is how you want to do things. You must bear in mind it has consequences. My words to my kids, every action or inaction has consequences. Yeah. It's that simple. That's life. Remember, what you do here now, what you do here, it will manifest in a way in the future.
Yes, 100%. And um, knowing yourself and knowing what you want out of a relationship, knowing who you are as a person and what your past traumas are, things that you've been through. Because sometimes you can latch on to another human being because of a past trauma. Yes. That you had. Yes. And the the relationship is not healthy because you it's almost like they are if I can say touching or rather soothing a wound. Yes. That you yourself actually needed to unpack and deal with. Address. Yeah. Within yourself. Yeah. And when you when you have clarity about yourself, who you are as a person, and what you want, whether the other person is okay with treating you a certain way or not, if you are not okay with it, you will draw the line. Yeah. You will draw the boundary and say, listen, yeah, I don't appreciate you talking to me in this way. Yeah. Or I don't appreciate when you disrespect me in certain ways by your actions, yes, whatever the case may be, in whatever given situation. Yes. And if it is a healthy relationship, there should be some kind of accountability being taken by the other person saying, okay, fine, I acknowledge, I hear you, in one way or another, and a change in behavior that shows that, okay, you've heard me, I said I don't like that, yeah, and because you value me, yeah, you are not gonna you are going to make an effort to improve.
And you're not going to downplay it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or I mean, if there's some kind of an issue that causes you to do certain things, you are going to address it. But either way, things are not just gonna remain the same.
No. And
We are not
vice
just going to
versa.
keep going through the same cycles. Absolutely, as much
Yeah.
as you expect someone else.
Yeah, you should
Still
always also.
accountability, yes, it's on
Yeah.
you as well. When the need arises,
Yeah.
that you also step up and take accountability for your actions. You know,
That's true. You can't be the one that the only one finding fault in the next person and acting like you all perfect and all holy. Do you
yeah,
understand? You need to be able to, when that person comes to you now and says that this is what I don't appreciate, this is what I don't like, and also try to tune in because some people don't know how to articulate themselves properly.
yeah,
You understand? And I think that's where we need to learn to be more patient. You understand? I think the other thing that we truly learn in relationships is patience. And when I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. When you look at one of the things that describes love in the Bible,
yeah.
right? What is one of those things?
Love is patient.
Love is patient. Love is kind.
Yeah,
Do you understand? And it's long suffering.
yeah,
So it's not going to be perfect. So if you're thinking you're going to jump off this wagon now or this train now, do you think the next train that's going to come is going to be better? You understand?
yeah.
But obviously there are relationships out there that I would say run.
If you need to
Run and run
feel like
fast.
you
The
have to
signs
take
will
that
be
step,
there.
take the step.
The signs will be there. Run and run fast. I'm just saying it, guys, because
If you've done
yeah,
everything that you can do and this thing is just
yeah,
not getting better, it's not changing.
yeah.
You
You're right.
are not able to be your fullest self
Yeah,
within the relationship,
yeah,
you know, or you feel that you might be in danger. I
yeah.
mean,
Your life,
yeah,
stuff like that. Run and run fast. Sometimes there are signs. I think sometimes we ignore the signs, and it's just not always about the physical type. I always say that what, there's other relationships where it's more psychological,
yeah,
and that can be just as damaging,
yeah,
if not more. You
yeah,
understand? Um, but it's one of those things that you just need to be very careful who you get into bed with,
yes,
if I can use that for.
And I mean, if you find yourself in that situation,
Yeah.
sometimes it's not as easy to just get
No, no, sometimes it's not.
based on
Yeah.
whatever the circumstances are, whether it's financial, whether it
Yeah.
is whatever the situation.
Yeah.
Take steps. Take steps to either improve the situation or take steps to make the necessary changes that would allow you
Yeah.
to be able to let go or walk away or whatever.
And truth be told, whatever decisions you make, whether you make to stay, even if it's not for you, you need to you need to own it also.
Yeah.
Do you understand? You need to own it because you can say it's fine, I'll stick it out. You're sticking it out. You need to own it then.
Yeah.
Do you understand? You can't necessarily just go around making excuses.
Yeah.
When things are not working out, and stuff like that. You need to own it because remember you're making a decision for your life, not for anyone else's lives.
Yeah.
For your life at the end of the day.
No one else can make that
You
decision
understand?
for you.
And you must bear in mind those are kind of things, those decisions are decisions that will impact your offspring at the same time.
Yeah.
Who you try to bring into this world.
And change the trajectory of your own life, your own potential,
Heavily.
Possibilities.
Heavily. And sometimes we don't take full accountability for the extent in which we influence our kids' decisions.
Yeah.
We brush it off to he's naughty. We brush it off to he's a this or she's a that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
We don't take some responsibility or even full responsibility because of our actions. It's almost like sometimes we drove our kids into a certain position. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And we don't say that, oh, I know, yeah, I know I messed up. I think this is more about a context. in the decisions that you make. Yeah. For your life, for your offspring. You understand? It's very, very important. And trust me, you could be sitting there thinking like, ah, me, I make good decisions because I do this. My life is like this, my ABC. You would find that there are certain things that are in you, ne, that you haven't worked on. Ne? Then when that offspring comes or when you have kids or whatever happens, you know that some things is the things that they'll pick up the most. Yeah. And then you thinking that everything else is so perfect, but then they picking up on that specific things. Then what? When they go the other way. You understand? Yeah. How do you bring them back? Now, obviously, this you need to be able to see that, but yeah, man, this comes from me. Yeah, and I mean, if you haven't addressed it within yourself and you haven't conquered it within yourself, you won't be able to show your kids how to conquer no that behavior or that mannerism or that action because being around you for the basically the duration of their lives until they become adults and separate from you to start their own lives. Yeah. They're obviously picking up actions, they're picking up mannerisms, they're picking up ways of thinking. Yeah. Yeah. And anything that you haven't addressed within yourself, they are going to carry. Yes. They will see it. Consciously or subconsciously. Yeah, they will see it. They are going to see those things and they are going to start acting in that way. Why? Because I saw this around me day in and day out within my household. Yeah. And that could be your blind spot. That could be the thing that you don't see. Yeah. But it's there. Because remember, it's become so a part of you that you don't see it as maybe something that could negatively impact unless somebody addresses it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. And I mean there are situations where sometimes people just don't know that no certain way I am. Yeah. Certain way that I act, certain thing that I do. Yeah. That I am like is this. Affecting exactly. Yeah. Is affecting the other person negatively and only once that is highlighted sometimes will they have the opportunity to be like, oh, okay, I didn't know that when I do this, you actually don't like that, or when I talk this way, when I act this way. And maybe when they go home at night, they actually take a seat and be like, you know what, okay, why do I act this way? Why do I feel that this is okay to be in this way? Yeah. What is it within me that when I'm faced with certain situations, I respond in this way. Yes. And where might that have come from? If I unpack it, Yes. Finding and I've been like this since I was a kid. Was there a certain change in my life that brought this on? Yeah. Like finding the root cause of certain things, certain behaviors. Yeah. And I think when I was about 28 or so, I learned a very interesting trick about me. And I think that's why I become so mindful of my actions. Even though I get very angry or I would get very irritated with certain things. I would obviously after that have to step back and ask myself, did I handle it the way you understand? Did I handle it differently or could I have approached it differently? Stuff like that. And a lot of times um, I don't go back to handling that specific thing like that, or I actually still do because remember I'm a work in progress. Yeah. You're a work in progress. Absolutely. So it's not like us saying these things is an overnight thing. Yeah. These are practices. Yeah. These are things you need to be able to learn to become mindful of. To say that, oh shucks, I do that. You're okay, but then also willing to learn. You don't know everything. Yes. You don't know everything. You'll never know everything. It's just the way it is. You understand? And that's why you're on this journey. You're on a learning journey where you learn about yourself, you learn about others, you learn about this, you learn about that, and you'll forever be learning. It will never change up until the day you die. Absolutely. You will be forever learning. As you're learning about yourself, as you conscious about your actions and areas of improvement, whether mentally, physically, spiritually. Yeah.
you, if you're in a relationship, yeah, you need to be learning your partner in the same way to understand what makes them tick, what do they like, what don't they like.
Yeah. And that's where compromise comes into play. You know, a lot of times you will have to compromise, whether you like it or not. Because remember, if you're not compromising, then at the same time you're saying, I don't see your way. Whatever you think or whatever you want, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. And that's where you learn to balance. It's a give and take most of the end of the day, isn't it? Yes. I give you a little bit of meat, you give me a little bit of chips. We just go like that, back and forth, and you're like, no, this one, I can't change this one. I can't compromise here. Yeah. Do you understand? There are the things that she'll be also like, no, but I can't compromise here. Do you understand? Because this is what I like. This is what I enjoy. You know, stuff like that. So it just goes like that. It's a negotiation throughout
Is
life.
it something that I can deal with, or is it something I'm not willing to accept?
I, it's one of those things, guys. It's one of those things. You know what? I wanted to tap into the other two.
And I mean, even with your kids.
No. Do your thing.
Even with your kids, and as far as connecting with and relating to your kids, you have to learn them as well. What makes them tick, what they, how to get through to them. Basically.
Oh, but those ones can be heavy, but no, those ones teach you more about you than themselves.
Yeah.
No. I know. Look, in a lot of instances, I've been humbled, and I think I've had to make peace with a lot of things. You can't control everything when it comes to your kids. Sooner or later, something's gonna break.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
If you
They are their own beings.
yes, they also figure themselves out.
And growing up, and I mean, it is a different story if they were growing up in the same world that we grew up in.
Yeah.
Because they okay, we have a similar understanding.
Yeah.
But they are growing up in an ever changing environment in a new world. It was different from
changes
what we
quicker.
grew up in. So, and I mean, it's not like they necessarily have a choice. They're born into this world with its pros and cons, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
Also the actual time that they are living in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes we think parenting is hard in this time. Being a child could even be harder in this time.
Yeah. Because they're facing similar basic challenges, but they're also facing different challenges. Things that we as parents maybe didn't go through in our time. We didn't experience in our time because of how things work within the age that we live in now.
And you know what's I think what's more scary and what's more difficult for a parent? How do you teach a child something you know nothing of?
Yeah.
Because remember, some of your parental skills are also influenced.
Yeah. I mean, you carry over your parents' way of thinking, or maybe the way that they raised you, and maybe at this point in time,
Yeah.
It
And what if they were no parents?
might be slightly outdated,
You see?
or the circumstances might not be the same as what you were brought up under.
Yeah. Very different. Very different. I don't think any two kids were brought up the same, even if they were living in the same household.
Yeah.
Like, I think I can fit, yeah, no, I can fairly say that. Someone can come to me and say, yo, I raised my, no. Two kids in the same household will experience love differently.
Yes.
They will experience it very differently. Do you understand? It's just one of those things. And that's why I say, how do you teach what you don't know?
Yes.
You know what you know, right? Now, what if you don't know a specific thing? And the reason why I say this is, what if you come from a one parent household? You at times don't know how to be a father because there was no one to lead the way.
Yeah, that example, yeah.
Do you understand? What if you come from a single parent, but you had a father, you had a mother? You understand?
Yeah.
How do you do that as a woman? And you understand? What if you do come from a two parent household, but there's certain things you just really didn't see?
Yes.
Because you were so shielded.
Yeah.
Do you understand? There's a lot of things. What if you come from an orphanage? What if you come from? There's a lot of things. And the thing is, I think when we look outside and we see, oh, but those parents are so lovely. They can buy the kids everything. Oh, those parents A, B, and C. And then you take also from other places, and you say, you know what? This is what I want to try and do for my kids.
Yeah.
But in some instances, not in all instances, guys, don't get me wrong. In some instances, you'll find whatever you're trying, like I'm saying, you're trying your best here. Yeah. Whatever you're trying, you're not realizing that, yes, this kid is going down this road. Yeah. And I was not expecting that because I thought what I'm giving is enough. Yeah. I thought my giving was sufficient. Yeah. You understand? Then you go back to the drawing board, my guy. Yeah. What do you want to do? You understand? Absolutely. You go back to the drawing board and you're like, you know what? Hey, I need to figure out something else now. Do you understand? A lot of parents are crying in their hands because of the actions of their kids. You understand? Mm. I won't say there's something you did wrong. No, there's no such. There's no such. You did what is best for that situation. You understand? Because remember, everything is new to us. Yes. Both parent and child. Yeah. Everything when you wake up tomorrow, it's a new day. It is new. You haven't lived it before. Yeah. You don't know what traffic is going to be like. You don't know what mood someone else is going to be in. It is new. Yeah. But because of certain decisions that you've made, because you've worked on yourself, when tomorrow comes, you are able to deal with it in a certain way. Yes, 100%. You are able to say that, you know what? Let me try something else. Yeah. Let me try this. Let me try that. Do you understand? Yeah. You learn to tweak things. And I think what has also failed is the fact that you're having tough conversations with a child, bro. Yeah. But that's where that's the importance of having communication and connection with your kids to understand them as young as human beings. Yeah. And also try and understand where they at in their life. What are they experiencing? What are they going through? So that to the best of your ability, you could try and help them through with some caring adult wisdom. Yes. Yeah. Because they could find the wrong answers and the wrong information by the wrong people. And normally so it would be outside. Yeah. The wrong outside influences. There was one thing I heard. And it said you send your kids to school to be taught by other kids. Yeah. And basically, you send your kids to school to be taught life by other kids. Yeah. Because remember, you have to most probably sometimes deal with a lot of things where they come home and they stay and do certain things. You obviously know it's not something that happens in the house. Yes. And you'll be like, no, this is not. But then obviously, it's a matter of learning to break it down. You understand? Yeah. And you know what? And I think we've covered quite a lot when it comes to relationships and kids. But what I think is more important is how we approach certain things in life, relationship, kids, open-minded, you know, not just having that sense of I know everything. Yes. Or I can't learn anything from anyone, which is, I think is very important. But yeah, man, as you saw, yeah. I mean, I suppose that there's even more to cover in the episodes to come. Yeah. I can call it that. Yes. It's as we learn, as we live and we grow, we learn more and more things about ourselves, about our interactions with others, sure. and how we can actually do things better. So I doubt this will be the last conversation that we'll be having on this topic. But to the listeners out there and viewers out there, please give us your feedback on the content discussed today. Yeah. What your views are and things that you've learned that's actually helped you navigate your relationships in a better way. Yeah, true. But anyways, guys, please don't forget to like, subscribe, catch us on our socials. But for now, we're out. Thank you.